Money. Few topics are as misunderstood while simultaneously as undiscussed and undereducated. In a time where a feeling of scarcity, uncertainty, and misalignment between average incomes and cost of living, we need individual solutions more than ever. Welcome to Get It Together, and if you're new here, this channel is just me trying to figure out how to get my life together and sharing the tips and lessons I learn along the way. I read an article recently that talked about the income requirements here in Toronto, Canada, needed to rent an apartment in the city. The estimate as an absolute bare minimum, meaning no dining out, no retirement savings, is $23 an hour. Meanwhile, minimum wage here right now is $15 an hour, which means for hundreds of thousands of single people or single income households, what they are earning is only 65% of what's needed to survive in this city. My brain started wandering as it typically does, and the place it ended up in was human rights, of all things. Now stick with me for an abstract second, because my mind went here because I genuinely believe that the ability for every adult who is willing to work full-time to be able to afford a roof over their head, groceries to fill their stomach, and have some left over to at least have the choice to save for their future. Those things all clustered together, to me, is one human right. And the fact is, in a first world city like Toronto, this personal definition of a human right is being violated for a gigantic portion of the population. Check it out. The Simpsons premiered in December of 1989 and was created as a mirror image of an average American family. Homer, a high school graduate with no college degree in a non-managerial role, could afford a 4-bedroom house, provide financially for a spouse and 3 children, own not 1 but 2 cars for the family, and still have enough left over to enjoy a couple of beers with his buddies. I repeat, this show was created as a mirror of an average American family, meaning this was normal. Fast forward a few decades, and please tell me in what fantasy world is this even a remote resemblance to what's normal throughout the globe? 2 incomes are not just the norm, but in fact a requirement to just scrape by for most families. And birth rates are at an all-time low, driven at least in part by the feeling of how can we give a child a good life when we need to decide between fixing the 1 shared car we have and being 2 weeks late on rent. And the downstream effects are even more insidious for dual-income families with children. With both parents working full-time, exhausted by the time the evening commute ends, the time spent building meaningful connections with kids has, honestly, it's shrunk dramatically, while in-home stress and conflict expands, creating environments that just aren't conducive for young minds to develop calm, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence to navigate their mental worlds that are now increasingly dictated not by their family bonds and meaningful social structures, but rather straight up by advertisers. In other words, the violation of what I believe to be a human right, where if you work full-time, you should have a roof, even a tiny roof, and groceries, even bare-bones nutrition, and the option to have some left over to save for retirement. The pervasive and constant violation of that human right is the new normal. So where does this leave us? Well, one direction is collective galvanized energy towards some kind of revolution, likely tragic and violent. Another direction is that we as individuals, families, or friend groups just need to earn more money. I'm not a macroeconomist, nor a social scientist, nor political scientist, so I'd like to talk about the latter, earning more money. I'm a firm believer that we all will benefit in more ways than just financially from starting and persevering through a side hustle, 1 or more additional streams of income. But where the heck do you start? The abstract short answer is provide value by solving challenges. That probably doesn't help you a ton, but it's worth taking a moment to really expand on this because most of us aren't taught or even exposed to this idea in our most formative years. What I mean is, as a teenager, I worked mostly in clothing retail and was simply following marching orders. Fold these shirts, hang these jackets, organize these sneakers in the stockroom, help those customers right over there looking at life jackets. I was indirectly trained to think of income as receiving money for performing individual tasks over periods of time. And this belief, this paradigm of earning income stuck with me for far too long, and I believe I'm not the only one. The main thing that I was missing was contextual value. Look at this life jacket, something that would have been sold at one of the stores I worked at as a teenager. $100 feels steep when you're walking in a mall. I mean, even if you're planning on going fishing or something like that, at the mall the contextual value is low. But if you're not a great swimmer and get thrown overboard in the middle of the ocean, how much would you pay for that same life jacket then? The answer is obvious. You'd pay literally every last penny you have and more. This right here is the importance of reframing the very concept of earning money away from just time exchange, task-based thinking, and migrating to value for challenge-solved thinking. So the first step of side hustling is identifying what you have and matching your skills and tools with people or businesses that have challenges that can be solved with what you have. The bigger the challenge in their minds, the more they'll happily pay. Step 2 is to know how much time and financial resources you have to get up and running. If you're currently swimming in debt, chances are you probably can't buy a big truck and pay for insurance and gas to offer moving services and junk removal. But if you have a computer and internet, you can offer online tutoring immediately. Step 3 is the make or break. It's the difference between those who just start a side hustle and those that actually have a side hustle. And for a lack of a better word, it's sales. Few words yield as much of a visceral reaction as sales, but it's the only activity that actually brings money in. In step 1, you've identified a challenge you're able to solve, and in step 2, you've validated that you have the time and money to get it off the ground. And now in step 3, you need to identify the people who have that challenge, how to get in touch with them, and present your solution to their challenge. A transaction is made when what you charge for your solution is psychologically cheaper to them than the cost of letting the challenge continue to go unsolved. Because of this, I'll be starting an inexpensive to start product-based side hustle and sharing the entire journey right here. It's stickers. The challenge I think I'll be solving is for people who want to decorate stuff with designs that share their love for specific music. In terms of startup money, it'll cost less than $500 to get it off the ground. I see this side hustle journey as one of aspirational steps. Most of us don't have millions of dollars to just start a full-on company with employees and such, but my goal is to start with $500 investment that's pretty realistic for most people to save up, and hopefully turn that into, say, $500 a month of revenue. And if that happens, I'll have more startup capital to start the next side hustle that costs more to get up and running. Wash, rinse, repeat to hopefully have multiple side hustles, each more costly to start than the last, but also each that yields greater returns. If you want to see me figure out this side hustle and share every last detail of the process transparently, I welcome you to subscribe if you haven't already. But tying this all back to the whole point of this video, I hate that more and more people are leading increasingly uncertain financial lives because of the powers that be. And not only a greater gap of financial inequality, but more importantly, the staggering delta between the cost of living and the average income. Again, to me, if you work full-time hours, it's a human right that you can afford a roof over your head, nutritious food in your stomach, and have enough left over to put away for your retirement. In fact, too many people, and I'd argue most people, are having my definition of this one of many human rights violated. We can try and we can hope for politicians to make a change, but life's too short for hope alone. I'd rather keep that hope of external change alive while being proactive with internal change I have more control over. And to me, a side hustle is a great first step for everyone. Before closing out, let's quickly do the draw for both the Herschel Raven Wallet Instagram giveaway and the Herschel Charlie Wallet YouTube subscriber giveaway. At the entry deadline, I pinned a comment to YouTube and edited the caption on Instagram to let people know that entries are now closed. I then sort comments by newest first on both platforms, scroll all the way to the bottom, and put everyone's username in order of when they commented into spreadsheets. Here's a spreadsheet for the Instagram giveaway, and you can pause now to make sure that your username is indeed on the spreadsheet if you entered. And here is a spreadsheet for the YouTube giveaway. And same deal, you can pause right now to make sure your username is there as well if you entered that one. If you do not see your username, it's because, unfortunately, either your comment came in after entry deadlines closed, or your comment wasn't a qualifying comment, like if it was a spam bot or something. As usual, I'll be using random.org for the most anticlimactic draw for both. First up, the Instagram giveaway for the Herschel Raven. Head to random.org, minimum number is 1 and maximum number is 41. Hit generate and 23. Head back to the spreadsheet and find line 23, and congratulations Instagram handle David R. Love. Since this is an Instagram giveaway, I'm going to send you a DM on Instagram so you can reply with your shipping address, and I'll get this Raven to you ASAP. Next up, the YouTube giveaway for the Herschel Charlie Wallet. With 43 entrants, head over to random.org, minimum number is 1, maximum number is 43, hit generate, and 40. Head back to the spreadsheet and find line 40. Congratulations, YouTube username Carla Wade. Because this is a YouTube giveaway and I can't message you directly, please DM me on Instagram at Maurice Moves, where we'll do a quick and easy identity confirmation to make sure someone's not pretending to be you. And once that's done, I'll get your shipping address and get this Herschel Charlie on its way to you as well. Thanks to everyone who entered, and of course, be on the lookout since I do giveaways here on this channel pretty often. Oh, and by the way, if you liked this video, I think you'll love these ones right over here. And if you got some value, please hit that like button because that one tap or click helps my small channel out a ton. And if you got lots of value, consider subscribing and hitting that bell so you'll be notified the moment videos just like this one drop. But regardless, thanks so much for kicking it with me, and I'll catch you in the next one.